Sadhu, sadhu. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya Bhante.
Namo Buddhaya Bhante Jivananda.
Bhante.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Homage to the blessed
Namo
Buddha,
Buddhaya
supremely
Bhante.
enlightened Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu,
I pay homage to my teacher, Luke Swami Maharaj. Sadhu.
sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, so this is the sutta about a beautiful thing. Buddha teaching a very fortunate lay person and special instructions at the time of his death. Can you imagine the fortune of that person to have the Buddha beside him while he was dying? Buddha giving amazing instructions to him. Do you like to have a Kalyana Mitra beside you when you are dying? You should have lots of good karma. Only some people will get that. So you have to have your own Dhamma knowledge, your own meditation practice, because we don't know whether we have that opportunity, to listen to the words of Dhamma from a Kalyana Mitra at the last moment, or we don't know where we are going to die, right? So always better to be prepared. So here we are going to learn about that fortunate young man. He was living with his father. Okay, who is going to read?
I can read, Bhante. At one time, the Buddha was staying near Rajagaha in the bamboo grove, the squirrel's feeding ground. Now at that time, the lay follower Dīghāvu was sick, suffering gravely ill. Then he addressed his father, the householder Jyotika. Please, householder, go to the Buddha and in my name, bow your head to his feet. Say to him, Sir, the lay follower Dīghāvu is sick, suffering gravely ill. He bows with his head to your feet. And then say, Sir, please visit him at his home out of compassion. Yes, dear, replied Jyotika. He did as Dīghāvu asked. The Buddha consented in silence. Then the Buddha robed up in the morning and taking his bowl and robe, went to the home of the lay follower Dīghāvu, sat down on the seat spread out and said to him, I hope you're keeping well, Dīghāvu. I hope you're all right. I hope that your pain is fading, not growing. That it's fading is evident, not its growing. Sir, I'm not keeping well. I'm not all right. The pain is terrible and growing, not fading. Its growing is evident, not its fading.
Okay, Ben, let me explain something here. So we do this. So did you see that Dīghāvu, this young man, invited the Buddha to visit him out of compassion, and Buddha visited. Buddha went to see him, and now Buddha is beside him and talking to him. And so we do the same thing actually, because Buddha has taught all the monks the same thing. So even today, like if somebody is sick, they would invite the Bhantes to go to their house, and so then Bhantes would go there, chant some parita, protective blessings, have a Dhamma discussion, and yeah, so even these days we do that all the time in our monk's life, and we remember how Buddha was compassionate to these people when the Buddha was alive, and that's a beautiful thing, and lots of people benefit from that. Normally when somebody is sick and especially gravely ill, there are more chances that they will forget some Dhamma and they will have undergo some pain, bodily pain. So it's always beneficial for them to have a monk or a Kalyana Mitra. So they get lots of energy and lots of reflections ability of the Dhamma because of that meeting. Did you know that you can invite Bhantes when you are sick? But not when you have a headache or very little. Then we can always, every day, on a daily basis, we have to go somewhere and no time to read suttas. I hope you understand the proper time. Okay, so that's a very good kind of message from the Buddha to all the Bhantes and the lay people, all the monks and nuns. So now when Dīghāvu Upasaka was explaining about his pain and about his sickness, we can understand that it's not normal. It's not normal. It's he's suffering a lot, and Buddha noticed that he's about to pass away. Okay, so what is the Dhamma instruction from the Buddha to a person who is just about to pass away? Because Buddha knew that he was about to pass away. Can you imagine what kind of Dhamma would be shared with such a person, by an enlightened Buddha who can see the past lives, who can see the future lives, who can see the karma and everything? It's very, very interesting. Ben, you like to continue?
I can let somebody else get a chance.
Okay, anybody else who likes to continue reading?
You can read Bhante.
Okay, Rob. And we rejoice in your reading, Ben.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, Dīghāvu, you should train like this. I will have experiential confidence in the Buddha, the teaching, the Sangha, and I will have the ethical conduct loved by the noble ones, leading to immersion. That's how you should train. Sir, these 4 factors of stream entry that were taught by the Buddha are found in me, and I am seen in them. For I have experiential confidence in the Buddha, the teaching, the Sangha, and I have the ethical conduct loved by the noble ones, leading to immersion.
Okay, Rob, I think I have to show you the Pali and discuss a little bit about these 4 factors of stream entry. Okay, the stream entry? Stream entry means the disciple who has attained the first stage of enlightenment, right? Stream enterer, stream winner. So he has attained the first stage of enlightenment. He has seen the 4 noble truths for the first time, and he has gained powerful assurance in his life. What is that assurance?
No rebirth in lower worlds.
Yeah, he has already achieved a guarantee that he will not be born in hell, in animal world, in ghost world, in asura world in the future. He has completely escaped from the rebirth of those planes of misery, and he will attain the final nibbana, the enlightenment within maximum of 7 lives, and he will be born in heavenly world or human world until he attain nibbana. So that's a powerful achievement, isn't that? He will not make any bad karma that will lead him to a plane of misery. So that's the stream enterer. And you see here 4 factors of stream entry. And let's check the Pali here, the Buddha's words. Okay. So Buddha's instruction for the young man Dīghāvu. So Dīghāvu, you should train like this. I will have experiential confidence in the Buddha. Tasmahite Dīghāvu evang sikkhitabba. Buddhe avecchappasadena samannagato bhavissami. Avecchappasada is the key word here. Buddha asks him to establish a well-grounded, unshakable, unwavering confidence in the enlightenment of the Buddha. And that enlightenment is explained here after that. Itipiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijjacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisudhamma sarathi sattha deva manusana buddho bhagava. So the confidence, unshakable confidence, unwavering confidence should be based on these 9 qualities that explains the enlightenment of the Buddha briefly. So this is the first quality, Arahant. This is the second. This is the third. This is the fourth, fifth, sixth. This entire thing is sixth. 7, 8, 9. And each of these Pali word has a specific meaning. So the disciple has to learn the meaning, and then while reading the suttas, studying the suttas, reflecting on the Dhamma taught by the Buddha, the disciple is supposed to see these qualities of the Buddha that represents the enlightenment in that each and every sutta. That means the disciples who are studying the sutta, who are practicing the Dhamma, who are contemplating the Dhamma, will recognize the Buddha's enlightenment, recognize the Buddha in the Dhamma. While they are reading the Dhamma, they will see what kind of an extraordinary being the Buddha is. Because Buddha taught, Yo Dhammam Passati, So Mam Passati. Whoever sees the Dhamma can see me. So we can see the Buddha through the Dhamma. So seeing the Buddha means seeing these qualities of the Buddha, not physically. It's just through his enlightenment. And briefly, the avecchappasadena about Buddha's arahant quality, extraordinary quality, means the disciple understands through the Dhamma and through the wise consideration, and with the effort of applying the Dhamma to his own life, he understands that Buddha is some extraordinary being who had abandoned all the defilements, all the negative qualities, all the wholesome qualities from his mind. And they can see throughout the 18,000 discourses, they cannot find even a single moment where Buddha got angry, where Buddha gave rise to a single thought of lust, single thought of desire, single thought of attachment. They cannot find that. It's not about an account of a person who lived and who shared the things about life for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or something like that. It's about his 45 years. You can see this, what Buddha did, what Buddha spoke, what Buddha shared with the world, not for a short period of time, for a long period of time, for 45 years after he attained enlightenment at the age of 35 and till he attained the final passing away at the age of 80. You can see this during this long period of time. You cannot find this much information, like throughout 18,000 discourses. How many words he uttered? Imagine 18,000 discourses. And you can research, and Buddha invites everybody to research about him, investigate about him, examine about him. It specifically, there is a sutta for that, specifically mentioning about that. And that is in the Majjhima Nikaya. The name of the sutta is Vimarsana Sutta. Vimarsana Sutta. That means inviting others to examine himself. You cannot see this in any other place, in any other book. Nobody has given the opportunity for others to investigate like that, except the Buddha. Isn't that amazing? There is nothing secret in the life of the Buddha, nothing covered, nothing hidden. And Buddha asks, okay, before placing confidence in me, you examine my life, how I lived, what I said. And also Buddha asks, don't examine for a short period of time. You check the entire life. Because Buddha says some people are good until they become famous. Buddha says in that sutta. They are only nice, kind, gentle, only until they become famous. And Buddha asks, you check whether the ascetic Gautama was having these good qualities only in the beginning part of his life, or in the middle part of his life, or throughout his entire lifetime. After attaining enlightenment, did he have these qualities? Was he practicing these qualities? Was he having these qualities? Can people see these qualities? And like that. It's a beautiful sutta. Vimarsana Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya, middle end discourses of the Buddha. Amazing. So when we investigate about Buddha, when we examine about the Buddha through the 18,000 discourses, you will see this Arahant quality very clearly. Buddha's dispassionate mind, detachment, lust-free mind, anger-free mind, everything you will see. And also you will see Arahant quality. This is the meaning. This is how the unshakable confidence happens in somebody's heart, in the follower's heart about the Buddha. And you will see the Buddha's mind is full of loving kindness, compassion, patience, forgiveness, all the positive qualities. You will see that. So like that, you recognize the Buddha's enlightenment through the Dhamma. So Samma Sambuddha means without the instructions of teachers, by himself, Buddha attained enlightenment, realized the Four Noble Truths. And you will see that very clearly, how the Buddha attained enlightenment by himself. Vijjacharana Sampanna, that means you place confidence in the Buddha's extraordinary knowledges, like knowledge to see past lives of beings, knowledge to see how karma works, how beings are reborn according to their karma, and how beings die according to their karma. and so many other extraordinary knowledges about spiritual faculties of beings. Yeah, so you learn them while you reading the suttas. So Vijayarana Sampana. Sugato means you will have confidence about the Buddha's path, the Noble Eightfold Path, how Buddha discovered the Noble Eightfold Path for the first time in this era, followed it and attained the ultimate freedom, Nibbana. Lokavidu means you will realize that Buddha realized everything about different worlds, about lower worlds, about higher worlds, about Brahma worlds, about heavenly worlds, and realizing everything about the worlds. He found the path to escape from all worlds. And he did not take rebirth in any of the world after he passed away. And you will see that very clearly when you read the suttas, that Buddha was a Lokavidu Buddha. Anuttara Purisa Dhamma Sarathi means you will see the quality of the Buddha, how Buddha tamed gods, Brahmas, humans, and these beings out of compassion, how Buddha helped them to become virtuous, become mindful, become kind, compassionate, become generous, become wise, and how Buddha helped them to be liberated from the cycle using his compassion. Sattva Deva Manusana, and you will see the Buddha is the teacher of gods and humans. Not only humans went to the Buddha asking questions and asking the true nature of life, but also the Devas and Brahmas went to see the Buddha and learned about life and learned about enlightenment and attained enlightenment. So that's why when disciples go to heaven, they still get the opportunity to follow the teachings of the Buddha, because there are so many disciples in heaven, gods and goddesses, who are followers of the Buddha even today. 8th one, Buddho. Buddho means by realizing the teachings by himself, Buddha has the amazing skills to teach it to the world, to share the teachings with others so that they also can understand the same teaching and attain true happiness. You see that how Buddha did that throughout his 45 years. Bhagava means the blessed one, the most fortunate one to have all these qualities, and the most powerful being. Even the powerful gods, Brahmas and Devas with psychic powers worshipped the Buddha, went for refuge to the Buddha, and learned teachings from the Buddha. So like that, you will kind of recognize the Buddha through the Dhamma. And those are the main areas that your confidence will be based on. And Buddha asked, and also in many of other suttas, Buddha explains the main benefit of having that confidence in the enlightenment of the Buddha is that the follower will have lots of energy to do wholesome things, to do good things, and to avoid unwholesome things. The more confidence you have in the enlightenment of the Buddha, the more energy you will have to abandon unwholesome qualities and to cultivate wholesome qualities. That is the purpose. It's like an ordinary situation. The more confidence you have about your teacher who teaches something about some skill in your ordinary life, the more benefits you will gain. The more doubts you have about the person who teaches you something important, the more failures you will find in your practice. So that is Buddhe Aveccha Pasada Samanagato. And like that, Buddha asks him to, so that is the first quality of an stream enterer. And another thing to understand is that this, when before somebody becoming a stream enterer, that person has to associate some other factors before becoming a stream enterer. And what are those factors? Sappurisa Sangsevu. Okay, there is this ordinary person who is not yet a stream enterer. So he gets to associate with this first factor, that is Sappurisa Sangsevu, means he associates with Kalyana Mittas, noble friends, Dhamma friends, who know the pure teachings of the Buddha. Second factor is Saddhamma Savanam. So this ordinary person, right? Now he's an ordinary person. He's not yet an stream enterer. He should learn the teachings from his Kalyana Mitta. Maybe Kalyana Mitta, maybe a monk or a lay person who is already a disciple of the Buddha and who has knowledge about the teachings of the Buddha. So he listens to these teachings, Saddhamma Savanam. And third one is Yoniso Manasikaro. And he practices wise consideration. He thinks according to the teachings of the Buddha he just heard. He thinks in line with those teachings. He contemplates on them, reflects on them, the teachings. And the last one is Yoniso Manasikaro, Dhammanu Dhamma Patipada. Practicing accordingly, practicing self-restraint, practicing mindfulness, practicing meditation, practicing vipassana, practicing samatha. Okay, now this is the path to become a stream enterer. Because he is practicing a path, he can see the Dhamma to some extent. That is why the confidence becomes unshakable and unwavering. Now you see that there are some supporting factors behind that unshakable confidence. It's through a path the confidence comes. It's a natural confidence, a natural thing. Because he has already seen the things that Buddha has taught. He has seen. He has contemplated them through, and he hasn't fully realized them, but he has seen them to some extent. Now you can see this confidence is nothing to do with blind faith. It's based on understanding. So the second factor of a stream enterer is Dhamme avicca prasadena samannagato. And the third, that's the unshakable confidence, unwavering confidence in the teachings of the Buddha. Third one is unwavering confidence on the community of the monks, the monastics. And there are, you see here the dots. So that means there is more information here, like this. And then Arya Kantehi Silehi Samannagato. The fourth factor of a stream enterer is that the person keeps 5 precepts or any other precepts he has observed in a very mindful way. He keeps precepts and he respects precepts, and he enjoys, or he experiences rapture and joy by keeping precepts. Precepts are not a burden for him anymore. And nobody needs to force him to keep precepts. He enjoys keeping them and he sees the benefits of having them. In such a experience, if he keeps precepts, that they are called Arya Kantehi Sile Samannagato. And those precepts are there to help him for his samadhi samvatana. So what did he say after Buddha advised him in this way? Yanimani bhante bhagavata chattari sotapatyangani desitani. So the Buddha didn't tell him that I am explaining the sotapatyangani, the factors of a stream enterer. Buddha was just explaining about giving instructions him to have 4 factors, and as soon as Buddha explained them, he realized, oh, Buddha was talking about 4 factors of a stream enterer. And then he says, Bhante, these 4 factors of the stream entry that were taught by the Buddha are found in me. Samvijjanti dhamma mai. They are found in me and I am seeing in them. Ahanja tesu dhammesu sandissan. For I have experiential confidence in the Buddha. I have unwavering confidence in the Dhamma, Sangha, and I am keeping my precepts very well. He was very fortunate. He was already having those factors. That means he was a extreme entrant by that time. He was already attained first stage of enlightenment. He has seen suffering as a noble truth, origin of suffering as a noble truth, cessation of suffering as a noble truth, and the path leading to the cessation of suffering as a noble truth. He has seen them in the initial stage, and now he was working on the path to understand each noble truth deeply. Colin, you have a question?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I was hoping to circle back quickly to the part we were just talking about the confidence in the Buddha and the Sangha and the Dharma. Because I just finished reading a book on stream entry myself. I actually just finished it last night, so it's fortunate that we're talking about this today.
You are lucky.
Yes, that's very. So it seems, and I guess I'm just kind of making sure that I'm understanding everything perfectly. It's not so much that the confidence in these 3 things is like a hard line in the sand, so to speak. It's more like when you've practiced and understood and examined enough, this confidence will come. Like it kind of just sort of happens. Am I kind of understanding this right?
Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, absolutely. My question, it seems more like from that Sutta that the confidence in the Buddha and his enlightenment comes from practicing. It's sort of a result of the practicing and the examination and all of that. Is that correct?
So, okay, so here this practice, the word practice is to be described in different ways in terms of different individuals. Because for some people why do we need the practice? We need the practice to understand certain things about life. Certain things means the 4 noble truths and nothing else. So that is why we need the practice. For some people to understand the preliminary levels of the 4 noble truths, that practice, it doesn't take even 5 minutes. Because they have been practicing this path in their previous lives. They have been practicing lots of wholesome qualities. They have been associating previous Buddhas maybe, or enlightened monks, or maybe they have they were monks in their previous lives. And they are reborn in this life again, and that Dhamma knowledge, that wholesome practice has followed them to their new life, and it is behind, but they didn't know that. So then Buddha would start teaching him, because Buddha can see that. Buddha has a special knowledge to scan individuals' spiritual maturity. So Buddha knows that this person has been practicing this Noble Eightfold Path in his previous lives, but he passed away before he attained even the first stage of enlightenment. But now his spiritual faculties have matured to such an extent that if I teach this today about on this topic, he would attain the first stage of enlightenment as a result of maturing those spiritual faculties, and he would attain the first stage of enlightenment sitting right here. So then Buddha would teach maybe a very short stanza with 4 lines. And the realization happens. And attains the first stage of enlightenment. So there was a practice. It was not devoid of a practice, right? But it was not only the practice in this life. It was a continuous process of practice. And in this life, as soon as he heard the Dhamma, he attained the first stage of enlightenment. And for some other individuals, maybe they start the practicing the Noble Eightfold Path in this life for the first time, maybe in this long journey of samsara. And for that person, they need to associate with those 4 qualities: association of Kalyana Mittas, frequently listen to the pure teachings, wise consideration, practicing the precepts, meditation, and all these things. With the support of all these things, it may take years for that person, for the practice to take him to the first stage of enlightenment. You see that difference, Colin?
I do, yes, thank you.
Yeah, so it depends on the individual. So we shouldn't misunderstand that after we read something, that person just went to the Buddha and Buddha uttered a 4-line stanza and he attained the first stage of enlightenment. And we shouldn't misunderstand, oh, so that it is that easy to attain the first stage of enlightenment. So I don't need to read so many suttas. I don't need to listen to so many Dhamma talks. So I can't be like him. So we shouldn't misunderstand like that. Different individuals has different spiritual maturities. Okay?
All right, thank you.